You're listening to Business Lunch with Roland Frasier. This is your seat at the table.
Hey everybody, welcome to Business Lunch. I'm really excited today because I have somebody who I have known for a long time, and I've watched him blow up in a good way across country after country after country with program after program, in live events and training. Just really super smart business person, marketer, one of the better networkers that you'll ever come into contact with. So I want to welcome to the show, T Foxx. JT, welcome.
Well, thank you, Roland. I just wish you'd say that stuff when we're in person. That'd make me feel a lot better before we go into a meeting or a negotiation. I'll just remind myself of playing this clip before we start as well. But thank you, though. Thank you.
Well,
I never know how Roland really felt about me until now. Or is it for the show? It's just because it's a business lunch. Everyone's happy. But,
no, man, I'm happy pretty much all the time because life is so wonderful, and you got a nice big smile on your face. So I think you're probably that way too. No, it's absolutely true. We're both at the point in our lives we don't have to deal with people that we don't want to deal with, and I certainly wouldn't have somebody on the show that I didn't think was was interesting, exciting, and cool. So I'm happy to have you here. Will you tell everybody, because I can give that like broad stroke, but you've done so many things in so many areas. Would you just kind of give a brief, here's like, kind of the JT empire?
So I started in property investing. That's how I started. Moved from Canada to the United States over 10 years ago. No money, $974. And
Are you
right here in, pardon me? Yeah,
I'm
Canadian. Yeah, Canadian, and je parle très bien français aussi. So
Okay.
my mom was French, my dad was English.
Ah,
So I
parfait.
moved, ben oui, je parle très bien français aussi. See, I speak other languages too, but that's for another show called the late night show, the late night aperitif with Roland.
Yeah, we'll call it the polyglots. I like that.
So I moved nothing, $974. Go down to negative 34,000. I'm in Chicago, actually, where I am right now, but I have places elsewhere. And this is kind of where I started. And I'm about 30 days from having to move back. I'm sleeping on an office couch, eating ramen noodles, and doing a lot of the wrong things, one of which is a big lesson: too big, too soon. I always tell people now, right, you're either hunting elephants or chasing rabbits. Well, I'm broke, I got no money, and I'm going after elephants. I'm trying to go after big deals and big multi-units and all these things. And I had never done a deal. I just got out of a seminar. And that was a very lesson that first you want to get rabbits so that you can eat or you're going to starve. And so 30 days to move back, I'm down to negative 34,000. Then at my first property deal, my second, third, fourth, fifth, I did 500 deals without using any of my own money in real estate. I made my first million at 24, my second million at 25. It was 10 million by the time I was 28. And then, I did what a lot of people do. Like I saw a speaker and it's like, you should be good. And I had a radio show by that time. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And completely bombed the first few speech. I learned a valuable lesson about speaking. Doesn't matter if you're a good speaker. There's a structure and there's a science and how do you sell. It's something that you talked about when you did your event you didn't know you were doing. That was a Pony Off Mike's event. Now, I listened. And people are around, the tables didn't fit. So similar things you don't know. And you can't just wing it. It just doesn't mean you can talk. And I used to stutter too. So, and then I got rid of that. And so I failed my first 3 events, and then I hired a coach, and that to me, that's probably the best thing. And it wasn't so much about at first speaking coaching, it's about life, like how the world works, how to talk to people with money. And you can't just can mentor me. Can I follow you around? Like, it's just this notion.
Can I pick your brain? That's my favorite.
Right. Well, yeah, I pick your brain. Can I buy you a sandwich? I was like, it's all right. I can afford the restaurant. I'm good. You know what I mean? So, and people don't value that time. And I got taught that like the business world is really like the jungle. You got to know your role in the food chain, and to think you're equal, you're not. I can't go up to Elon Musk or even Richard Branson, who I both know, and do things because it doesn't work that way. There's a hierarchy of business, and people are saying, well, they put on their pants in the same way they do. Yeah, they put it on their private island, you know what I mean, or their super jet or whatever, right? So,
and they're really nice pants too.
Correct. Yeah. So then I started speaking, and then once I got it, I started speaking about property. But I was a very polarizing speaker. Like I'm talking about in your face, kind of like Simon Cowell, Chef Gordon Ramsay times 1,000 times. And I still am in a way the Chef Gordon Ramsay and the Simon Cowell of the the world. And it was just America. I dabbled back into Canada because I'm Canadian, and I tried the UK, completely failed with an event with Richard Branson. It wasn't mine, it was somebody else. And then I started like looking at growing other businesses. And then by accident, I sort of fell into South Africa. And I remember actually we were just towards the end of the relationship, the first phase. Then I went to South Africa, nobody knew who I was. And that's when my brand took up, because I made it very big in South Africa. So when I came back, I mean, I think I made 10 million my first 8 months there. And I got back, and you're always more famous outside of where you live. You know, I know in some of your, you were talking about in your audio about like people discount the international market because they think it's international. I mean, everything is connected now.
Right.
And I go in and I literally became famous, like literally like GQ, CNBC, everybody. And then I got this idea of kind of like celebrity branding. I was the first one. And because I saw all these big brands, they're all with the celebrities. And I said, you know, like, why would a big corporation hire these celebrities if it didn't work? Why does every Super Bowl commercial? And it wasn't for the small people. So I started having Arnold. I know you guys were supposed to have Arnold, or you will, or you won't. Who knows what's going to happen?
December. We'll have him in December. We're thinking positive.
Assuming things are open. I'm praying, but yeah. But so I had like Apple co-founder first. I was kind of like the first one that was big, and you know, Arnold, and then Pacino, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Wahlberg, everything. And now, to make a long story short, they call me the world's #1 wealth and business coach, the highest paid business coach in the world. I mean, this is the fees I get are just insane. And I own over 50 companies and brands where I have done events in 54 different countries. And now we have clients in 94 countries. We just got our first client yesterday, Mauritius, of all places.
Nice, beautiful place.
Yeah, it is. My money loves it. Good banking laws there, especially from South Africa where I do business. So I became very acquainted, but I didn't have any clients there. And I went all over the world. And it's interesting because it's been one of the greatest life experiences in the world. And now, you know, we are where we are, which is what I call a complete reset. So that's my story. I buy and sell businesses similar to like you. I do a lot of real estate investing still. And, I don't see myself being 60, 65 and 70 and traveling all around the world and speaking. It's I don't know, it's like the deal and what you talk about, that's what drives. Like, that's the excitement, doing the deals, the art of the deal. Like, every day is different, solving problems, things like that. So that's my story, just an average guy on a business lunch.
I love it. I want to ask you a couple things that brings up. The very first, I think, is a great lesson that you said you learned, and that is the chasing rabbits versus chasing elephants. Because I can't tell you how many people, even in my own family circles, that like they're chasing these giant deals, and one in particular, and super nice person. It's just that every time I have a conversation, it's like, so what are you doing? Well, I'm working on the exclusive rights for China to do this. And I'm just like, man, but you're starving. So what if you just did a small thing to,
or I'm working with a Chinese consortium, you know, I've heard, yeah, and properties, and they're looking for hotels, and yeah, it's yeah.
So what do you tell somebody that says that? Because I know you're pretty
singles and doubles. I think the World Series are won by fundamentals. If you take a look at a World Series, very rarely they're won by 20 people hitting home runs.
Right.
Here's the problem with big deals. They're complicated. They take a long time. One thing goes wrong, it falls apart. And you could be working 6, 7, 8, 9 months on a big deal, and it all falls apart. Yeah. But on the alternative, some people, all they have is little rabbits, okay? And they're building a great income, but they're not building wealth. So at some point, you have to start looking for the elephant. The problem with the elephant is you can spend days looking for it and never find it. That's right. Another thing. Another analogy I use of businesses is like the fishing. So right now for most businesses, they go in the ocean, they fish, they catch the fish, they go to port, they unload their own fish, they go to the plant, they sort the fish, sell the fish, and they have this income, and they're like, oh crap, I got to go back and fish. Well, by the time they go out, the time, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, they're not making money, and that's their thing. So I tell people at first, there's no such thing as self-made man and woman. They got to get one at the plant. Now, the problem, there's a person at the plant and person fishing. The money is in the fishing. Okay. The money is the relationship building, the negotiation, the deals, because you can find a salesperson to go fish with you. But if that person starts thinking they have all the power, they will leave you. They will start their own thing. They will screw you. It is much easier to find some left brain analytical at the plant. So what I did is I went to fish, dumped the fish, plant, back out. Okay. Back out. But then I realized the plant was getting overwhelmed by how much I was fishing. So I added 2 or 3 other people at the plant. And then I added more boats. And then I did something that was a big changer. I decided to go further. Let me go further. Let me go to places. And maybe I catch a giant fish. Like maybe I don't. But I still have boats bringing me the income as well, which is why I can afford to take risks in countries where no American has gone to or tried to do events or tried to do business in our world, to do that and experience things because it was worth the risk. And every time I've ventured very far, it's turned out to be amazing deals, amazing relationships, amazing branding. But I always know I have got boats generating fish, because what I don't want to do is kind of, the movie, The Perfect Storm, where they go in, they went further, they found the fish, and then the hurricane came in and they all died. So not to be a downer, but that's, and by the way, I don't like fishing, and I've never fished in my life, and I don't like hunting for the purposes, in case there are people that are animal rights, these are theoreticals.
Now, see, that goes against what I'm going to ask you next, which is the polarizing thing. So what is it that causes, is that just kind of how you are? Do you feel that it is helpful to people? Should people try to be more polarizing and less soothing, satisfying to everybody? Tell us what your philosophy is on that.
So I take a look at Simon Cowell, Randy Jackson, and Paul Abdul. So let's take a look at those 3. Paul Abdul gets fired. Randy Jackson's a nice guy, kind of sticks around, but is a nice guy. But, kind of like the number 2 man. And then you have Simon Cowell. Okay. You have Chef Gordon Ramsay. Everyone loves to idolize Steve Jobs. But one of my coaches, Mike Slade, who was best friends with Jobs, is now best friends with Gates, worked at Microsoft and worked at Apple when Jobs went back to Apple, and worked at Net Computer. And I'm very good friends with Apple co-founder. So they all told me Jobs was a giant.
Wozniak on the co-founder?
Yeah, Steve Wozniak, yeah. They all say Jobs was a giant asshole. Like he just was ruthless, but now we sort of idolize him for what they do. And it's a crowded marketplace. And I have been coached by George Ross. And George Ross was President Trump's right-hand man for 47 years on The Celebrity Apprentice. I'm not going to get into politics here, but he's 92 years old. He now works for me, okay? So he always told Trump how it is. Whether he did it or not, it doesn't matter, right? But whether you disagree or not, as a businessman, Trump did build the name and big billions in real estate.
Yeah.
However you want to say, you start talking about Trump and people can vote. But I was always coached, because I think a lot of coaches tell people what they want to hear. And in a way, there's 2 types of people. There are people that want to be told what they want to hear. And I've been doing a live Instagram every day at 4 p.m. Eastern time, coaching people live. And I can't tell you how many times people have been told by other coaches that their idea was good when it's not good, because it's sometimes people need tough love. And look at Bill Belichick, all right? Let's just take another example of football, okay? And he is not a well-liked person. One of my friends is downtown Chicago, is an agent for some very big names. Everybody does not like Bill Belichick. He's a hard driving, he's not empathetic, he says that how it is, grumpy all the time, but the man wins Super Bowl. Now you might argue, say, look at Tom Brady left, they won 6 Super Bowls. So unfortunately, the very nice people, and I think in your way, your style is a bit different, because you're the harmonizer, the nice one, the approachable as well. And that works for you, but for most people it doesn't. But you're still willing to tell people how it is. And so I go in and I'm straightforward, no BS, but now I'm the highest paid business coach in the world, right? I have a private equity as well, very successful. Everybody gives me their money to invest, to buy companies in real estate and things like that, to invest in assets. I invest in all kinds of different things, right? While people are not paying out their investors right now, we just paid out people today. So I have no problem, right? So I didn't hold or anything like that, because I'm a very conservative investor. So here's the thing, and whether we like it or not, President Trump won because of that polarization. If 46% of the people like you, you're going to be president.
Yes.
Okay. And unfortunately, here's the thing. Someone might watch this and say, I don't like him. Now, to me, if someone that's more successful than me, because I respect the art of success. But everything is subjective in terms. And sometimes why we don't like people is out of jealousy. And I'll coach people and I'll say, I want hard coaching. And I'll give them the truth. It's a horrible idea. It's a horrible business. They're arguing with me. And at the end, some people want to be right. I want to get it right.
Yeah.
Now, there are other people I deal with. You tell them whatever one, and just depends who you're dealing with, right? But especially, I'll tell you this, the right-brainers, right? Right-brainers, emotional feelings, they're like all excited, but they can go like really nasty quickly. The left-brainers are much more methodical, non-confrontational, and if they have no problem, they won't tell it to your face. They'll probably just leave and not deal with it as well. So it's different personalities react to different things. Now, Chef Gordon Ramsay, $71 million last year. Simon Cowell, $65 million. Steve Jobs built Apple. President Trump became president. So this notion that everybody's going to like you is impossible. And it's hard, you know?
It's not going to happen no matter who or how nice you are either. It's like they're always haters. So you just have to, you know.
Yeah. And the problem is that the haters spend haters spend time on winners. Winners spend time with winners. So, and hatred is a form of jealousy, but I've never met a hater doing better than me. Here's the nastiness of the world right now is people are building their brands off hating other people. So you have this YouTube movement of let me review this person and talk about how bad and how they're BS. And maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong.
Unproductive, yeah.
Horrible. But here's the problem. The people that you attract, okay, you're going to get views. But I'm going to tell you something. Fans are not buyers. This is be clear. Fans are not buyers. And this whole movement, and you and I mean, you've been in a long time, but we come from a different thing. Like I have nice stuff. I have houses all over. I've got all the stuff, the watches, everything. I don't show it. Now this whole thing about social is the Ferrari, the watch, the plane. And unfortunately, when Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates don't showcase their wealth, and Jeff Bezos, and they're the richest people in the world, then why does some guy with some internet marketing program wants to brag about having a Ferrari that's probably rented? And even if it wasn't rented, it doesn't matter because you're attracting the wrong type of people.
Yeah.
Because one thing you realize is once you hit a certain goal financially, whatever that is, you don't care about that stuff. You don't like the $15,000 tune-up on the Ferrari. I got jet skis I bought, and they were fun the first 2 days, and then everyone used them but me. I have houses all over the world I don't use, other people use. Right. So you come that it doesn't matter. And if I died tomorrow, all my money's going to go to charity, just kind of similar to what Zuckerberg and Gates and Buffett are doing, because I don't think you're measured by how much money you make. You're measured by how much you give. But on the alternative, I met Simon Cowell about a year ago, and he's very different now. He's more mellow. And I asked him, I said, dude, what happened? Just to be honest with you, I stopped arguing. Same thing with jobs. Like, okay, yeah, right. You're a great singer. Next. Yeah, you're right. You know more than me. Okay. And I'm starting a lot to be like that, and sometimes I have to turn it on. But the problem is that I'm the type of person, just tell me so I can get it right. I don't want to be right, because if I'm right, it's like when you talk to your coach, you want someone to agree with you.
Yeah.
No, I want an independent. Here's the facts. What do you think I should do? As opposed to slanting the information so that in a way someone can agree with you. The job of a coach is to tell you honestly, what is it they want? And objectively, you're 90% right, but that 10%, that wasn't right. Okay. Right. But I can also massage a story to make it seem anybody's right. That's the problem with the world today as well. But on the other side, on the polarization, look at the people I know from 9 years ago, 10 years ago, some of the celebrities or billionaires or people I do business, they're all still in my life.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why they should take a look at who's still in my life and why are they still there.
Yeah. And having had the opportunity to chat with you very casually, chilled, and, not with anybody else really around, to me, it's basically, I think you don't have a tolerance for bullshit. That, it's just, if you're willing to just say, right out the bat, that's stupid, you're an idiot, and we come across that all the time. And like you said, to me, it's not worth arguing with. I'm just like, you're dead to me. I'm move on to the next thing, because I don't want to spend time investing in that I'm not going to convince that, what is it? They say it's like teaching a pig to sing, right? It frustrates you and annoys the pig. It's just, it doesn't work. So that,
but here's
that
another thing. I never give my opinion to people that is much more successful than me unless they ask me. And I think the worst thing you can go, people are like, can I give some feedback? Like people come to me and be like, your slides on your presentation, they could be a little better. And I'm thinking, I just made 4.2 million in a 90-minute speech, and I'm the best closer on the planet from the 90-minute stage, platform sales speaker. And you, who is sitting in the audience, right, who's got 12 Twitter followers, right, and you know, if that, right, or you got 5,000 and you all bought them because they're all from India, right, and I could tell because you got like no engagement. You're telling me. So that's just this thing. Like, here's a funny story about that. When I was at Necker Island, so I did some volunteer work with the Richard Branson Foundation in South Africa. They had a school of entrepreneurism, and I went there and I spoke, and I saw their curriculum. It was horrible. And I love Richard's book, Losing My Virginity. I'm not a big fan of the other books. I told him, not the smartest thing to say, but that first book was phenomenal. I think it's in my top 5 books for sure. It was really good. And so we're walk around Necker Island. I don't know if you've been, but you go around the rocks. He like takes rocks. And I'm like, Richard, I have some ideas about the curriculum you had. It's not like your book, like, you know, and Richard's the nicest man of any human being I know. Him and Wozniak, probably two of the nicest men. And I could see his face kind of turning like, and I'm like, oh, I'm just joking. He goes, okay. You know what I mean? Like, because I just that's when it hit me. Like, he didn't ask me. I'm gonna keep my mouth
you're
shut.
like, I'm violating my rule. Yeah,
I'm violating my own rule and stuff like that. But I even if I was right, it doesn't matter, right? So now people approach me and then I answer. You know, it's like, you know, what advice could? It's like, wow, you're the world's #1 wealth and business coach, and Elon Musk. So what? I run 3 publicly traded companies. And by the way, if you were coaching me, you probably said, don't go in an electric car, don't go to space, and don't go to and don't do solar. Those are like 3 of the worst. Like if I was coaching someone, I'm like, dude, are you insane?
Yeah.
And now look at what Tesla is, you know, made money during this pandemic, 16 million despite all that. And the stock is crazy. I mean, it's like never bet against winners. And that's a winner. Never bet against job, never bet against you, never bet against me. People that are listening to this, because this is the final way to make money. And they're motivated by the hatred and non-belief of others.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this, and I want to hit growth. I also want to hit the international stuff you did and celebrity before we get done. But I'm kind of curious because a lot of your business is powered by events. What have you done to pivot? Like when you saw the world basically shutting down, what did you say to yourself, and what actions did you take?
Well, first of all, I mean, I have a private equity. I have tons of investment, and I really make millions and millions and millions a month passively, right? So without any work, I got investments all over. Mm-hmm. But to me, that money is not real. Okay, it comes in every month, like it's always come in, and it's because the way I'm built. I always tell people, work ethic eliminates fear. I work, and I can see a return. Like I do something and money comes, right? And that's right. So all the other stuff, I don't really worry. I don't spend. I don't, you know, I just reinvest. So I had been thinking for a while of not going on the road anymore, because after 324 days on the road, all these countries, like there was nothing much more accomplished. I mean, I was going to go to Romania, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Hungary. Can I give you an idea? Like I'm running out of countries to go to where language is not a barrier as much.
Right.
And so the whole world stopped. The events whole stopped. And the first thing I did, and it went contrarian to everybody. And I said to myself, what is everybody going to do? And that's exactly what I said about 52 days ago, because I started a new podcast. I had another weekly podcast, which is a debate show, both sides of every issue, and then people decide. And then, so I created a daily podcast where it's all the business news in less than 7 minutes, because there's so much news out there. I read 40 newspaper, I speed read and stuff like that, and I give 7 minutes, and people are listening to it like crazy. So I created that to create the engagement, right? But then I said to myself, number one, everyone's going to go online and everyone's going to do a webinar. Everyone's going to offer anything, including your ad, which I saw this morning, right? So everyone is crowded. People I've never even heard of, right? And everybody's the expert. Everybody's number one. Everybody's this. So I'm thinking about saying I'm the #1 zero coach in the world. I'm really thinking about building that brand. And so I said, everyone's going to do it. So there's going to be a lot of noise. Yes, it's going to be cheaper. The ads are going to be cheaper, but it's a crowded market. everyone's going to say this and then do some of it. Like people are saying, we won't be selling, and then they sell. And then everyone's going to do these summits and with a bunch of no names that no one's ever heard of. So it doesn't matter even if you have a summit. So I said, we need to do something really. So before I'd go on stage and I'd sell my program up to 5,000, 90-minute speech, 10,000 people. Right before we shut down, I was in Edmonton, 5,000 people. And I said, I'm going to offer all of my programs for $20. So that's the first thing I did. And I've got 31 programs. I just finished one about how to read body language. I have this innate ability of looking everyone, know what's wrong, what's right. Do they have money, not money? I mean, I do it live. Like I just read people, which is a very important skill. And I put all of those, and I took all my coaching sessions I've ever had, and I put them on things so people can listen when I was broke to where I am today, including the times that we were there. I remember some of the issues I was having when you guys kicked me out of your mastermind. It wasn't yours back then. It wasn't yours. You were an attendee, but they kicked me out. By the way, he still hasn't messaged me back. I talked to Perry. The other guy still hasn't texted me back. You should give him a hard time about that.
I will, because I know he respects you. I don't think there's any issue.
Clearly. Everybody else responded. So I did that. So I offered every program for $20. That was the first thing, number one. Number two, I decided to go live on Instagram and Facebook where I do live coaching. So let me be a product of the fundamental. Number three, every single day, 6 days a week, every day I do a different topic. Mondays, real estate. Tuesdays, business growth and scaling. Wednesday, speaker, coach, consultant. Thursday, sales and marketing funnels with my CEO. Friday, my money guy comes in. And Saturday, my coaches like Hugh Hilton, George Ross, Mike Slade, they go on and they coach my clients 6 days a week free. So think about this. 6 days a week, I got a webinar. 7 days a week, I live. So right there, that's 13 hours right there. Okay. And then I'm creating crap load of content, including like I started recording my Zoom calls with my executive team and my money people about deals, how I evaluate deals, companies that come through, real estate that comes through inside the deals. So how do I evaluate it? How do I break it down? So people are watching this, and I've raised more money in my private equity, okay? And my engagement is through the roof. People are tuning in every day. Our platform, Millionaire Flicks, has grown by 5,000%, and it's insane. The average person is on it 3 hours a day, okay? That's 2 hours and 58 minutes a day. And then I came up with the idea. I said, you know what? I got this platform. I'm offering every program for $20, right? Because I knew you would offer your program for free and then charge them afterwards. And then people are like, I love it that. So I said, if I do that, and then I said free for 1 month and I'll charge you at the end, what would happen is I might get chargebacks. I might get, I just, because I think you guys kind of like did it at the same time. And then everybody started doing it. So the problem is when everybody does it, even though your offer and you're more genuine, you're the same. And I start adding, and then I said to my clients, you know what, maybe you should have your show on my platform. So my clients, rather than having a podcast where nobody listens, right, other than your show and the high level show, because we have a database, we can send an email and people listen, and we have names and brands, right? I mean, if you're nobody, it's really hard sometimes to build that credibility.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, just use my platform. And now my clients are creating shows like a crypto show and all these other shows. And my clients are loving the other show because now it's no longer about me.
Right.
It's about them.
Nice.
And so basically, I created my own little self-sustaining bubble where we grow our own food, right? We all work together. We all partner together. We all kind of feed together. Hey, send a deals here. Invest with us. What else do you got? So we insulate yourself with the rest of the world. And then we have a little door. Once in a while, people come in. We let people in. Okay, so we're very exclusive about that. And then people come into this community, kind of like Amish stuff, but more advanced, right? But and by the way, people are seeing. And then I said something. I mean, I charge an enormous amount of money. I mean, I charge, like when I first started, I was $2,500 for 30 minutes. That was the first time. And and then now I was getting because I work with billionaires, insane money, like upfront insane money. And now I said, you know what? I'm going to take 52 people and I'm going to coach you for $1,000 for 30 minutes. So like yesterday, I start my day at 3:30 in the morning. Yesterday, I did about 11 hours in a row of coaching on top of the webinars and lives and things like that, 11 hours. So far I've coached 48 of the 52. I got 3 more there. And people know how much I charge because they've been to my event. I mean, you can't even buy a course of mine for $1,000, right? Up until this. And I did completely the opposite everybody, because let me tell you why it's everybody. Now is the time to lower your price now because it's not going to affect you later. You're
Right.
planting seeds, you're watering them, you're nurturing them, you're telling people, hey, I'm there for you. And when it turns back up, you're going to have no problem to put it back up because Facebook is offering discounts, Google's offering discounts. That's the point. Too many people right now, and all the coaching I've done one-on-one, you know what I realized? People are coming up with ideas that would have been great 30 days ago, 60 days ago.
Yeah.
They're not thinking what happens when we roll open. Will there be demand?
Yeah.
Right? Like I got like 8 hotels over here. Okay. There's 8 hotels just around me downtown. Right? Who's going to go to a hotel? Who's going to go on vacation? Like you've been gone. Who wants to travel on a vacation when you haven't been working?
Yeah.
Right? If you do events during the week, who's going to take a vacation day to go to a seminar during the week? It's completely changed.
Yeah.
And people are offering products where people will say, that's good, but we need to get back to work. And so they're not pivoting their product. And here's the lesson. Relevancy is more important than experience. People don't care what you did 30 years ago, 20 years ago. My branding right now with Pacino, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Wahlberg, Branson, none of that matters right now. Yeah. People want to know, what did you do during these 2 to 3 months? So right. It's a complete reset. When this opens up again, we're all equal. I'm equal, you're equal, we're all the same. So that's what people don't understand. So I used to watch Netflix a lot. I call it Brokeflix now. I have not watched 1 minute of Netflix because I'm on the plane a lot. I speak all day sometimes, like trying to clear my brain. I have not one time. And Michael Jordan, I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan, okay? I have not watched that documentary. I'm acting like I'm broke again. I'm looking at deals like again. I'm going back to the place because I can just send my money and do nothing, but I'm trying to keep that hunger. And part of me is the challenge. Can I do it again?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is, so let me ask 2 things. One, what would you tell us about a no money down deal that you've done, something that you've done, business that you acquired without coming out of pocket?
I mean, it's the same thing as you. There's 17 different strategies. I mean, right now I'm about to finalize a publicly traded company that for $1, I'm just going to take it over and then take 8%. And then they're just going to take over everything. And they're just going to give me a percentage. I'll give you 20% of whatever we generate. You give me everything. All the shareholders, holders are going to vote off of it as well. But what people understand, there's a lot of different ways. My philosophy is just the best strategy is 2 things. Either here's some money to walk away, or I'll take it over. And a lot of people have like debts and liabilities. I owe this money to this person. I owe that money to that person. I have these people to pay. And I go in and be like, hey, and I do this usually before we take over. I'm going to take this over. You get 0 or I give you this. So everybody gets 10, 15 cents on a dollar. So in theory, there may not be any, I may acquire the company for $1, but there may be some small costs for operational or this. Or I'll go in like a lot of people and sell the inventory that they haven't sold at a discount. That alone produces that. Or I like right now businesses with the real estate. Because what happens is people have this piece of real estate, which they own, and they have their own business in there. And what they did is they paid themselves, they had a high rent, right? In theory, because money going for Peter to pay Paul, right? So it's the same thing to them. But now the problem is that no one's going to buy that asset and they can't afford it to still be in business because they're not making any money. So now there's a catch-22. And to them, believe it or not, the business sometimes is more important than the asset. Sometimes the asset is more important than the business. It depends what it is. Sometimes they just want to walk away with both and you give them a thing. I mean, I remember I took over a company in Norway and I just started internationally. And it was a company in bankruptcy in Norway. I said, I'll take it over and I'll negotiate with the creditors for $1. So I got the company for $1 and I told the people, say, listen, I can reopen or keep it shut. I spend $1. Here's 5 cents on $1. It's this or nothing. And everyone took the money. I've just never seen that. I've seen as well. Another business is a chiropractic acupuncturist, which by the way, I've never met an acupuncturist that's not busy. Like it's crazy. Like, and the numbers they have, the problem is that they have a hard time hiring people and they all work in their business. So I came in and I said, I'll take it over. Give me 40% of the business, right? You'll use my office, our back end that we have and all that. And we'll run everything for you in the back end. We'll run the marketing and the ads and stuff like that and give you 50% of the business, right? And that's that. I've done that many, many, many times as well. I just bought into somebody's company, a real estate investing company, for $1. And also had a roofing business. I had all these things, so I bought him $1. So because now what happens is they want to ramp up, but they know they're going to run out of money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to own I bought for $1. I want a piece of the contracting, which they have a lot of insurance work. It's in the beltway of tornadoes. So they always have these insurance things. So I want that. I'll fund the deals, the real estate deals that come in. I have a right to say no to them. I'm going to get a preferred return of 8% on my money, plus 50% of the deal on the back end. And I'm making 25% on any other income that they make.
Nice. Now, when you say 8% on your money, is that the money that you put in terms of the back office support?
Separate money. Because I didn't need to put any money in that company. They're always up and running.
Right.
See, the problem is that they after 2008, they get a lot of deals. And the problem is that they feel that the banks are going to tighten up lending. So now they're going to have to go to hard money lenders and people like that. And they don't want to have to fight like they did because it did very well. So they're willing to give away 25% of their company, 50% of their things to fund all that. And I worked into the deal that they had about 5 deals that are about to close in the next 30 days that I get 25% of those.
Nice.
I didn't do anything for it. And they're pretty much already funding. So, I mean, it's when I put a deal forward, I always put 3 options, right? 1 option's cash, walk away as little as possible, of course. Always try to go for $1, but sometimes, people want to save face.
Yeah.
Number 2, a bit of money, very creatively. And 3rd, where basically more like I take over and you just walk away and I'll give you a check for the next 8 years, right? So these 8-year terms are really because people thinking I'm going to get a bit of income on 8 years, but that's usually companies that have good assets and a good sounding board. I mean, I literally have like 100 of those right now. So
how do you structure the 8-year deal?
I just basically structure it. It's just I own the company and we give them a payout as long as the number of the company does the same that it was previously doing. If it goes lower, there's a sliding scale because what I'm trying to stop is now there's an exodus of clients and I still have to pay you because there's a little ego problem sometimes. Like you to make the company work, I come in, I do a few things and look, I make all this money. And now, this is my company, I built it, but they weren't. I anticipated that because in real estate, you deal with distressed homeowners and then you take the property, you fix them up, you make a lot of money and they're like, I've had this my whole life. And, and so people get very emotional. Chances are if they couldn't sell their business or at the end, they're very, very emotional. What I do is I make them kind of the idea of a chairman emeritus, right? They're involved, they're the face of the company, but they're not allowed to say anything. They can't say anything to the clients. They have to say that they're in the company. So I just have them as a figurehead. They might as well be a cardboard board box person because their ego, some of them, because as soon as there's a little problem, the people are like, it feels like it's different because now we run it like a real business, right? And then the owner's like, oh, I know, because his ego, because he wants to be right.
Right.
Like some people would rather be right than just get a check.
Oh, absolutely. So in those deals, the 8-year deals, you're agreeing on a purchase price. That price is paid out over 8 years.
So basically, just think about it like an annuity.
Yeah.
So
and is it usually a fixed price or formula?
It depends because if like there are companies like a lot of the companies now we're going to take over, they're making money, right? Yeah. So they're already making money. The owners are just done. Like they're just done or they're stuck or, they're like, we're getting old. The problem is that the baby boomers, there's no exit strategy for them and there won't be anymore. Forget about that. Like the Wild West of deals are coming like crazy. Like, Amen. And by the way, 30 million unemployment, right? It just hit today. You're gonna have record bankruptcies. Forget about it. Like it's gonna be the Wild West, the greatest deals all the time. So you're gonna have a lot of consolidation of industries. The bigger players, of course, will survive, but you can be big by not spending. So it's kind of like land banking of company assets, right? Yeah. And by using the existing customer base and creating that ecosystem, kind of like Apple, right? I like this, and how do I? I either go up vertically, kind of the Rockefeller way, or I go horizontally, and then I create the diagonal wealth as well. So I try to find these profit centers that are very strategically. But to come back to your question, it really depends because if the company's already making money, and I'm trying not to pay money, to them it's like I'm getting a payout for 8 years, okay? And also too, sometimes it's hard for someone to walk away from a company that makes a lot of money. Yes, so I'll make them, if it goes higher, they also benefit.
Yeah, kind of earn out. Right.
Correct. And then what I do, right, if I know it's about the pop or it's doing very well, I might go to them and say, I'll tell you what, we're going to put a lot of money. I'm not sure if we were just going to keep it. I'll tell you what, I just give you $100,000 now. And you want $100,000 now and be done? And everybody says yes. Or $50,000. And then
most creative financing deal you've ever done.
I've never looked, to me, when you buy a company for $1, it's like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, this doesn't get more creative. Like the thrill of, I didn't pay any money, but I can afford it. Right. I think that's more of the thrill, but let's be honest as well, too. It comes with a level of problems, the mindset of the people. Like if you watch the show, The Prophet, I know you guys are going to have Marcus Lemonis.
Yeah.
The biggest problem is not the business. It's the owner of the business. That they have great people. So what I've noticed is that, like, I'll tell you this, you can use this as a test. I'll probably hear it on your course, and then you'll send someone a cube, and then they'll talk in a box. Is this question: what's the last business book you read? I ask that question to everybody, and that tells me everything I need to know about what I'm dealing with. And what you'll hear is Think and Grow Rich or Rich Dad Poor Dad, and how can you be in business and not have read a business book or a course or an event to sharpen your mind? It's like, I wouldn't go to a doctor that hasn't updated its medical skills in 25 years. Although, interestingly enough, the system in America is very much like this. In Europe, Scandinavia, Sweden, and Finland, and Germany, like, they're so advanced. They have frequencies and peak performance athlete, PPRP, blood, and all that stuff. Here, we're like, because we're driven by pharmaceutical companies that lobby a lot of these people. Look at how do people know about pharmaceutical? Hot little woman goes up to a doctor's office and gets a lunch. Hey, let's have a meeting so I can pitch you our new drugs. That's how the system is built in there. There, it's about that constant improvement. So the medicine is so different in Europe in how they view things, about how it's like they view it as technology. But in American technology, we're so ahead of everybody, but the medicine is still stuck in the Stone Age. The masks and all that stuff. So every deal is creative. Like first of all, I never fall in love with a deal. I couldn't care less. To me, I just kind of take a look at it. Like someone described it to me as a masseuse telling me to me, I'm like, how do you massage someone that's just on your table? She goes, it's just a corpse or a body. And to me, the deal is like, I don't get emotional. I get nothing, but I have sharpened my negotiation skills. I'm phenomenal at understanding the sales point. And also, too, you have to understand two things. Number one, everyone has a why button. And now everyone has a fear button. It wasn't like that 60 days ago. Nobody had fear. Now is a fear button. So you got to press the why button and you got to find out the fear button. Because if you press the why button.
Go ahead.
You press the why and the fear. And if you just press the why and you don't address the fear, then, because a lot of people are saying, well, what am I going to do? Right? And is this money going to be enough to survive? Their 401ks are kind of getting destroyed. They may have lost money in the market. So now there's that fear. So what people are looking for more than anything is reassurance and security and some kind of a blanket.
Love it. Last deal question. Do you have one that you look at that you're like, really, that was just like kind of my favorite deal? I know lots of folks I talk to, and I do too. It's like, just, you remember there was one that was really just super, super cool. Is there one like that sticks out for you?
No, not even in real estate, because like I did a big deal and I got a big check in real estate and it got wired. I got a text message. It doesn't do anything for me. You know what does it for me is going to a different country. Like I went to Kuwait. Nobody knew who I was. Kuwait. Like you land in the airport, you look around, you kind of stand out, right? Kuwait. And I crushed. Oman.
Let's
I never even heard of it until.
How do you do that? How do you go into these new countries that nobody knows you? You've got no experience there. There's maybe a different language, completely different culture for sure in Kuwait. How do you do that?
Well, there's something called social media, and all you gotta do is you gotta put ads. Yeah, me neither. It's something called, it's on the internet. My business is worldwide. Yeah. Where you have offices everywhere? No, it's on the internet. I hear that still to this day, by the way. So yeah, so you just do social media. You do social media, and you just kind of just show up. But I would say 99% of the people who are not from there or from that culture fail. And what I do is I go in, and the first thing I know is I try to know everything there is to know about the culture, everything, the religion, the culture, how it works. But make no mistake, everyone that's watching here, your product, your service, your investment works anywhere in the world. Everyone has the same health, same business issues, same people issues, same scaling issues. But people think, oh my God, they speak a different language. Oh my God, they have a different skin color. Oh my God, they have a different culture. Like, for example, like in some of the countries like Oman, you're supposed to, it takes time and you get to know the person, to have another meeting, you get to know each other, and it's customary. Man, you know what I mean? But I bring it up. I'm like, listen, I don't have meetings to have meetings. I have meetings to get things done. That's the way I work, right? Because I'd rather have 10 meetings by the time you have one meeting, right? And the reason why they want to have meetings because they don't trust you yet. That's because they're not branded yet. So that's why you need to get branded. Because if you're branded, no one's going to expect you because they're going to respect your time. The only reason they don't have you is because there's a disparity of power. You need to shift it. And, and so going in and talking to them and knowing the stories of what's happening in these countries. Like I went to Malaysia, I crushed there, and I talk about, the 1MD and the prime minister. And I know more about their GDP, GNP, unemployment, systems, and problems. So when they're like, that guy knows more than everybody else. I mean, every single day I read over 40 newspapers, every single day. So I'm very well versed. And when I went to China, now I will tell you this, there's one thing that makes all the difference in the world. It does branding, right? And you can say whatever you want, celebrity branding or not, but when you go in these countries, celebrity branding, internet, they say they don't care, but they have our phones, they drink our coffees, and they shop on our websites, and they wear our clothes. Yeah. Like someone says to me, oh, branding doesn't matter. I'm like, yeah, that's a Louis Vuitton purse. That's, you know what I mean? Like I was going down the road because I tell you what, I said, you put your name on that Louis Vuitton purse, you can't even get $50 for it. Right. But you paid $2,000 because it has an LV logo on it. Right. I mean, it's true. I mean, think about it. You have a t-shirt, you put a swoosh on it, it's a $35 t-shirt. Yeah. Right. So you are your own logo, you get $5, if that.
Right. So when you're doing that in those foreign countries, are you looking at what's the popular social media? Then you're hiring an agency and kind of advertising?
No, we do it ourselves. So every time we try somebody else, because what I don't like having local people tell me how it works there, because they'll be like, it's hard, you don't make money, you know what I mean? That like, for example, when we first went to South Africa, that was the first big country, we dealt with someone local because they have connections with the hotel. Yeah. And man, we were paying 10 times more than America. That's how it works here. And for a year, my hotel cost, which is affecting the profitability of our events. And I said, why don't we call? And what we found out is South Africans then negotiate. They're like, I can't. And I say, are you a South African or South African? So we went there and we got super cheaper price. And they're like, well, that's what people pay. I'm like, okay, that's not what I'm willing to offer. If not, that's okay, we'll go somewhere else. So they didn't understand. I also tell the people is that, for example, outside of America, it's 5 seals and 1 shark. It was like, everybody's that. In America, 5 sharks, 1 seal. You don't kill, you don't eat here, right? Uh-huh. So, and they all say, oh, Americans, and then I will bring up like, I know you all think we're arrogant, okay? Now, how many people, and I do this live, I mean, it's as polarizing as it gets. You'll appreciate this. I'm like, how many people think that Americans are arrogant? And I'd say about 50-60% of the room will put their hand up. I'm like, okay, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I was born in Canada. I'm Canadian for this purposes. In fact, my passport says I'm Canadian here. I said, sir, can I ask you a question? I'll pick someone in the audience. Can you tell me why? Why are Americans? You know, in movies, I'm like, I'm sorry, in movies? Like, which movie? Okay. Sir, have you ever been to America? No. Right? So it's the same thing. I tell people whether people like President Trump or not. I'll do this exercise. This is as polarizing as it gets. But I get record sales. I go, who here doesn't like President Trump? 90% put their hand up, right? 10% don't. So I said, I'll pick someone. Why don't you like Donald Trump? He's racist against black people. Okay? Can you name me one instance by which he was racist? Okay? Because it's a serious charge to say someone's racist. Just one example. Well, you know, the Mexicans in the wall. Okay? So let's just get this straight. So you think he's racist because he wants to keep illegal immigrants outside our country? He goes, yes. Mm-hmm. didn't you guys just have Brexit to keep the Europeans out of your country because you didn't want to pay for them? Right? You see what I mean? Like, you know, or in Germany, don't you guys have an anti-German sentiment against immigrants, and your party has gained 25 points and almost beat that because you don't want immigrants in your country? So I always tell people, if you don't live there, don't judge somebody else's country, some politics. But the problem is that I tell people you're entitled to your own opinions, but you're not entitled to your own facts. Like, and then I ask people, why do you like Donald Trump? And sometimes it's just as crazy why they don't like him. So, and by the way, in business, I will ask questions like that because it will showcase to me their acumen. I don't care whether people like someone or don't like someone. I want to hear what their answer is. Whether I'm buying a company, I'm buying a real estate deal, because what they say, I know how to negotiate, how to market, and how to brand them, because I can adjust. Because I look at, there are certain people I don't like. Okay, and certain people, you know, they got, you know, all these articles about them written and stuff like that. And I'm the type of person that if I, like, let's say, if you don't like President Trump or you don't like somebody else, whatever they do bad, you're like, aha, I knew it. Because you're looking for something wrong. And again, if you like the person, whatever they say, you'll agree. I would have just, I take a step back and say, okay, I don't like this person. Okay, but that's kind of ridiculous. Okay, it's like for the Trump thing, the you know, and I've known the president for a long time, and I'm not going to politics, but the Clorox thing, and you know, that's kind of, it's not the smartest thing to say. Okay, but the issue is knowing him.
Interestingly,
but the issue is knowing him, knowing how he works. You're in the media every day. You have done like 60 briefings. That's the first thing they use against you because that's what they're waiting. Yeah. And now they're going to take that one thing and they're going to keep going with it. So in the end, because here's the thing, Obama stayed on script. He doesn't have a script. People made fun of Obama because he was on script. And then what happens is he goes off script. And at the end of the day, clearly some people like that. So, you know, but I'm smart enough to know, and I've been taught that I've judged a lot of people for the wrong reasons, and more importantly, judge people based on what other people said. Like so-and-so said something, like, for example, if I say your restaurant, let's say you have a restaurant, your restaurant is horrible, it's dirty, you guys were racist, worst restaurant ever. Who's going to say, well, that is your opinion of this restaurant. I'm going to go see for myself if Roland has cockroaches in his restaurant. Right. If I tell someone your restaurant is the best restaurant ever, then what happens is I'm going to be like, yeah, okay, I'll check it out. We are 100% motivated by the negativity of other people, but only 3% by its positivity.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. On the Trump thing, it was interesting. My wife pointed out when she heard all that going on, she's neither pro nor anti-Trump. But she said, you know, it's really funny that they talk about that. But we do inject poison into people to cure them from cancer. It's called chemotherapy. And so it's not a foreign concept that we do this. Now, that doesn't mean you go out and take a Clorox bottle and drag a needle out of it and poke it in your arm. But what he was saying was not completely out of the realm of...
And by the way, I never saw it that way. But you couldn't go back and, you know, if people didn't like the comment or didn't like it, they'll be like, well, okay, that's a good point. And that's our society. So we talk about polarization. This whole society is polarized.
Yeah, it is. I agree. Okay, so I want to wrap up with one last thing on the celebrity. So we talked a little bit about it with the bags and logos and you know, what's the value of something without, how you use that as you go into other countries and things. What do you think the right way to use celebrity is? Because there's so many things going on with, you know, with online celebrity, which is kind of, to me, a false celebrity, the internet influencer thing. There's the, you know, the movie celebrity, etc. What do you think for somebody that's thinking about how do I use celebrity to help my brand and in my business? How should they go about doing that?
Well, number one, I think just by having pictures with celebrities, that's one form, because you met someone that they did not. I think it's wrong when you say you do
your events, which is kind of great. You're like,
yeah. I mean, my philosophy is I'm the only one in the world. My celebrities, my clients get all pictures with every celebrity, and many of my clients get to actually be on stage with the celebrities. So whatever is mine is theirs. That's my philosophy. That's our culture as well. So you know, so that to me is very, very important. And I won't have a celebrity unless, because you know how the celebrities are with how many pictures they take, and if they cannot accommodate the number that I want, I won't have them. And it's very clear, because I will not get a picture that my clients cannot get. That's one of the philosophy as well. You know, you have picture branding, and then you have interview branding. That's the most powerful one. Actually, be interview, whether on your podcast or your show or whatever. That's the most powerful forms. And I don't think doing business with celebrity matters as well, because most of them don't know anything about business.
Yeah.
And they go through their managers who are just more clueless than them sometimes about business. But I think it's more about I'm around these people. And the worst thing you can do, like if you invited me to your event, and I have pictures of that when you've had, but like I know Marcus, I know I've spoken the same stage. But if you go to someone else's event and you white out the background, that's so disrespectful, because you did not pay, you know what I mean? And also what people don't understand is the background had to be improved. I've had people put their own backgrounds out there, and I will never do business with anybody who whites out the background, because it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to the promoter, the amount of effort it has, because it just shows you're trying to pretend someone. You know what? You write the $500,000 check for Arnold. You write the $1 million check for Pacino and Stallone, right? So you were given that opportunity. I think it's disrespectful, and that shows what type of person they are. I will never do business with someone like that as well. I think telling people they're your friends, I think that's wrong. I think just having it, you know what I mean, without saying anything is visually.
Yeah,
like my picture and my ad with John Travolta converts more than anything else, especially when I market to women. I don't say, even though I sang Grease with them, I'm the only one, but I do things next level. I did the freedom speech I dressed up as Braveheart in front of Mel Gibson. I dressed up as a Transformer. I recreated Rocky IV with Dolph Lundgren a couple months ago. I can show you the video where I was Apollo Creed. He goes, if JT dies, he dies. You know what I mean? JT Foxx, I must break you. I come up with all these things. So I think it's important to have that. The celebrity is the draw. It's really, okay, so I have a picture with the Pacino and you do not. It makes people click, okay? The curiosity. And people want to know, how did you meet this person? Why did you meet this person? How did you meet this person? And by the way, it doesn't matter whether you met him for 3 seconds or it was 5 hours. Like, no one ever asked me, how long did I interview John Travolta?
Of course not. No.
Okay? But it's about using it in an ethical manner, because what happens is when people use it in the wrong thing, they mess it up for everybody else, because then the celebrities, they have more clauses on there and they're more protective. It's all about how it's positioned. And, you don't need to pretend. No one here needs to fake it till you make it. You need to act as if.
So I know that you offer that as an opportunity, and you've had lots of interesting, fun things that you've shared here for people that want to find out more about you, more about your events, how to get on those stages and get those celebrity pictures, etc. What's the best way for them to do that?
I mean, you know as well as I know, Roland, that no one's going to watch this show and is going to come to me and say, I want to be on stage or get pictures. We know, we've been both are marketers as well. That it's never going to happen. It sounds good, but there's a sales process, and what's that going to do for me? It's just like anything. It's like saying, hey, buy this.
I actually believe the opposite. I believe that there are people like you and me who will say, absolutely, that makes sense. I want to do that. I'm going to make it happen. It's not a lot of people.
Yeah, but there's also there's a lot of explaining to do, especially on high level programs and packages.
Yeah,
it's not
sure.
Like you know what I mean? It's not like they're paying $197 to be, that. So there's a different, how many people be like, hey, I'll listen to this and go straight to your 5K event, or you know what? I want to be coached by Roland after watching this. Here's 15K, 25K, and you get
it absolutely happens. I got the wires to prove it.
Yes, it does, but not as much as it has. I mean, listen, they go to millionaireflix.com, they get all of my programs. And if you reach out on my social media and you go to JT Foxx or go to jtfox2x.com, and you can, I just tell you, if millionaireflix.com, I'll go with the $20 for 4,000 hours of content. I'm going for the $20 with Roland.
Okay.
Roland's going big. See, Roland's going elephant.
Let's give.
I want, you know what I mean? I'll get you the elephant later. I'll feed you with some carrots first, and then you can see everything there, and then we'll go for elephant hunting.
Right. Well, so I'm going to recommend. So millionaireflix.com is $20 right now for all of your stuff, correct?
Yes. Okay,
so that's millionaireflix.com. Your show, your one that people can come to and experience the full thing is...
That's called megasuccess.com.
Megasuccess, right? .com. Okay, cool. And what is it roughly to come to that event?
$97. Doesn't matter whether you're a billionaire or not. Everybody pays the same. So that's my philosophy of that as well.
Okay. And then you can go up from there, but definitely check out those things. And any other place, JT, you got a podcast now or two, right?
Yeah. I mean, if they search, obviously if they're listening to your podcast, they know how to search. I have 2 shows, a weekly debate show with my CEO called The Powerful, Both Sides of Every Shoe, very heated, whether we should, every issue we look at both sides. Doesn't matter what it is. It's kind of like my philosophy. Let's look at both sides. Here's our opinion. Here's yours, as opposed to one-sided. And then there's my daily show where I basically recap the news all in 7 minutes.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on here. I really appreciate you.
Hey, listen, I listen to your show. I like your show. So I like your podcast. It's funny too. There's another podcast I'll tell you offline. And even though they got big branding, it's just not a good show. I'll text you that. You probably have heard about it. It's about scaling. It's about speed.
We'll say goodbye to the crowd here, and I'll stay on and talk to you for a minute. I'll stop the recording. Thank you guys, everybody, for coming in. Check out JT, millionaireflix.com, and his podcasts and events. Definitely something that you would want to think about experiencing.